sign that points one way. The lot we used to pass by every day. Just walk away, Renee. You won't see me follow you back home. The empty sidewalks on my...
Welcome, everyone, to Talkin' Rock Radio. I have been so looking forward to this episode. You know, when I think of country music in El Paso, I think of this guy. With us today is a guy that is celebrating 50 years in the music industry. Welcome, Tim Thompson.
Oh, thank you, Rick. Thank you.
How's it going, buddy?
Going good. Going good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine, man. I really like your studio there at home. It's real pretty.
Thank you. Thank you. It's small, but you know,
Well-
you have to crawl around guitars to get them from point A to point B.
That's all right, man. That is, as long as it works for you. I think from the looks of your place, it's about the same size as mine. Only I've got some red velvet curtains on one side here. You can't see them, but anyway, that I put those up because I told Sharon when I started this show, whatever it was, 8 or 9 months ago, whatever. I told her, I said, well, if the show doesn't work, at least I can bring a pole in here with my red velvet curtains and you can do some dances for me, you know? So, so anyway, it's been working out. So anyway, we don't have to go to that one. But anyway, so what I thought we'd do today is talk about your life as a musician. You know, you've been at this for, like I said, 50 years. And let's kind of just talk about how it all began. And, you know, you're from El Paso, right?
I am El Paso, born and bred. Absolutely.
Did you go to El Paso High?
No, I taught there for 16 years.
Right.
Went to Bel Air.
Oh, you went to Bel Air. I knew
That's
that.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
I did know that. We were arch rivals, man. I went to Isleta. So yeah,
You know, they say once an Indian, always an Indian.
and that is true, man.
It's true,
you know?
because they never graduate.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I got news for you. I did, man. I did. I was one of them that definitely graduated. So hey, you know, it all worked out.
My mother and all my uncles, they all went to Isleta.
Yeah, I've got some. My mother did too, and some of my uncles went there and played football there, and I think even held some football titles that still hold today. You know, but
Sure.
anyway,
Wow, that's cool.
the your business of music. Let's kind of talk about how that all began, and you know, let's pick it up from that.
Well, that's an easy question because my mom and dad back in those days, and back in the Stone Age, we'd go to drive-in movies. I mean, when we were kids, mom and dad on Friday night. My dad was a railroad man. And so when he got enough seniority to actually get a Friday or a Saturday night off, you know, which was kind of rare. But I remember some of my fondest memories were going to the North Loop and the Del Norte, the border town, drive-in, you know. You remember all those old places, don't you?
Oh gosh, now you're bringing back some memories that I haven't
know.
thought of in years, man.
I know.
Wow.
Oh, and the Bronco. You went to
I
Isleta.
remember as a youngster doing that, and I would even put on my pajamas, you know, because
Exactly.
what would happen is you'd end up falling asleep, and so all they had to do is just, you know, take us in when we got home and plop us in bed, and you know, and that was
That's
that.
exactly right. Yeah. And my mom and dad, I mean, you know, they were on a fixed income. I mean, we weren't rich. We were very fortunate that dad did have a good job with the railroad, but still we weren't rich. But so they were always money conscious of spending, very thrifty people.
Yeah.
And so they'd pop popcorn. We would pop popcorn at the house and take big old glass jars of iced tea and Cokes or whatever, you know, and we would hide the stuff in the trunk of the car. So, and we, again, like you said, would be in our pajamas
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the movies that we saw, and it was I believe at the North Loop Drive-In, was George, what's his name? George Hamilton. I almost said
Okay.
George Harrison. George Hamilton, the Suntan King, right? He played Hank Williams
Oh,
in
wow.
a movie called Your Cheating Heart.
Okay.
And of course, I immediately, when I saw that movie, I knew that that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a songwriter, a country singer, and I just idolized Hank Williams after that. I mean, he was already dead, but he died when he was like 29 years old, right? And but I just knew that's what I wanted to be, and so I just begged my mom and dad for a guitar, and I came from a very religious family, and back in those days, guitars were kind of the instrument of the devil, and it's like my dad said, no, you're not going to get involved in any of that stuff. I was just relentless, so I knew that's what I wanted to do. So by the time I got into the 5th grade, my dad, I got a guitar for my birthday, and yeah, I think it was my birthday, and it was a Kmart special, one of those electric guitars with the $19 amplifier, and plug it in, instant distortion,
That was before the fuzz tones, man. They already had them built in those days.
Yeah, and the problem was I was going for a clean tone, But
Yeah.
anyway, so the very first song I learned was "Hey Good Looking." I learned how to play G with one finger,
Yeah.
C, D7. Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? So that's the only 3 chords I knew, and I didn't even know the chords. I just knew the one finger versions of them. And so I said, "What's the next thing you do?" It's time to start a band.
Well, you were many steps ahead of me, man. I think when I first attempted to learn guitar, it was "You Are My Sunshine,"
There you go.
and that was 3 chords also, So
Yeah,
I don't
that's a
know,
good
man,
song.
but yeah, it ended up being drums after that.
I remember we put this little band together. My sister, we got a drum set for Christmas, and I told you my dad was on the railroad, so sometimes he would work midnights and sleep during the day. The drum set lasted about a week. We came home and the drum set was gone. but
Well,
in that Dad couldn't get any sleep. But in the interim, we did a talent show at my grade school, somewhere in between that time. And it was me and my sister Janelle, and she played drums about the way I played guitar. She didn't know anything about drums, but she did her best. And we had 3 guys, the Dove brothers, and they were from Mississippi. They lived on the same street we lived on, and they couldn't they couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. But they had the aunt too. So they were my backup singers, and we called ourselves Tim and the Tomcats.
I like it.
So I told my sister, I said, Janelle, I said, now at the drums, we're gonna go, how's about cooking something up? How's about cooking something up with me? I said, I want you to hit that crash cymbal as loud as you can. For the grand ending, right? She goes, okay, we got it. We practiced, man. We practiced. And then so we're up there in front of the whole school, and Chucky Guthrie, the guy that lived next door to us, or down a couple of houses down, he could make the best duck sound in the world, man. I mean, so loud. He was great. And he could also make, sounds, right? Do that. And he was that kid, right?
Yeah.
So here we are, and so here's the Dove brothers, and they go, ladies and gentlemen, Tim and the Tomcats. The curtain opens up. This is at Mesa Vista elementary school at the time. So we go, hey, good looking. So we get to the ending of it, right? So I go, how's about cooking something up? How's about cooking something up? How's about cooking something up with me? And I looked at Janelle and she goes, and I get mad and I start yelling, come on, you were supposed to end it, you know. And about that time, the curtain's closing and I'm yelling at my sister and I hear Chucky, quack, quack, quack.
Oh,
And thus started my music career.
oh man, that's funny. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
So anyway,
When did you start your very first band, and how long did it last?
well, that's the very first real band that I was in. And I'm telling you, and I mean, I was like a junior at Bel Air, sophomore or junior, I can't remember exactly. But I don't know if you remember Ronnie Woking.
Ronnie was a good friend. His brother,
Yes,
Mike, was one of my best buddies at Isleta.
right. Well, they all went to Isleta. Ronnie had already graduated, but he was the guitar player. It was his band.
Is
And
that the band called Texas?
no, it was called, no, that was his brother,
Oh, his
Doug,
brother. Yeah.
Doug Woking, yeah.
Doug.
But Ronnie was Ron King. Changed his name to Ron King for his stage name later on, years later. But Ronnie played great guitar player. He was a great he played at the Frihole,
Oh, nice.
and all kinds of places. He was the real deal, the real deal. And anyway, Ronnie and our drummer was Hoot Webb. Did you know Hoot Webb?
Didn't know him.
Hoot lived over there on the Saragossa Road and North Loop in that rock house right
Yeah.
there. That was their little farm.
Oh, okay.
And the actress Kim Novak was a friend of Hoot's mom, and she kept her horse there. So every once in a while, we'd kind of get a glimpse of Kim Novak, you know.
I was going to say, the heck with the horse. Let's go look at Kim, right?
Yeah. And I got to tell you, as a 15, 16-year-old kid, man,
Yeah.
Kim Novak was like,
that changed you into a man real fast.
Something up with you. Yeah, she was gorgeous, and you know, but we were all excited about getting to see Kim Novak, but we weren't allowed to. You know, if she was on the premises, we weren't allowed to, really talk to her,
Right.
so much. But even though she would talk to us, she was a very, very nice person. But anyway, Hoot Webb, that guy, he was quite a guy. And then Mike Bennett was our bass player.
Mhm.
John Harding played guitar, fiddle, banjo. So amazing guitar player. And of course Ronnie played, and I was the main singer, and played a rhythm guitar. Great band. And they all went to Isleta except for John. He went to Eastwood. And Cajun Boys was the name of the band, the Cajun Boys. And they would get flyers, print them up, and put them all around Isleta High School, and all the cowboys, and all the ag students, that went to Isleta.
We call them stompers.
Well, I was trying to be nice.
That's okay.
But we would rent the Buford Inn out there in Moon City.
Yeah.
And we'd rent that place, that room that's right next to the bar. And we would have dances, charge $5 a ticket, and just fill the place up.
Nice.
And that was a good band. Mark Tate played steel guitar in that band. I don't know if you knew Mark.
I remember the name.
Yeah, great steel guitar player. So here we were, just really basically a bunch of high school kids, except for Ron. And he recently graduated. And we had a really good country band, really good country band.
Okay, and then what happened after that?
I graduated and went into the Army.
Okay.
That was a smooth move. But I went into the Army, and I stayed in the Army for 7 years, because when I was over in Germany, I re-enlisted because I was playing in a country band over there, and we were doing great. I mean, just doing great. And we were as County Line was the name of the band. And we played all the NCO clubs, officer clubs, and EM clubs. We played on the German economy. Marburg University invited us to play on a television show there, where this famous German comedian was hosting it. And we went out and we started out with Johnny Cash. So we're playing Johnny Cash, and those Germans, man, they went crazy.
Oh, how
They
cool.
just they went nuts. And so the host, this German comedian, comes out with a stick pony, he's got a cowboy hat on. It was so much fun. And
Plus all the great German beer you got to drink.
man, I tell you what, yeah, absolutely.
The best. And of course, apple corn. I'm sure you had some apple corn while you were there.
I did.
Oh man, I was telling somebody the other day, I used to get apple corn brought in by the case by the German Luftwaffe. Man, the guy that flew the plane. I was playing at the Ramada Inn up there. This is right before we formed the Basic Sound, and I was doing some pickup gigs at the Ramada Inn up by the Oasis. Remember on Montana there by Bassett?
Yeah.
And when he would come to town, he would bring a case of apple corn over to me, and I would go out the parking lot, and we would do our exchange, and I'd pay him, and that was that. It was kind of cool,
That was my first job at the Ramada Inn up there.
Oh, really?
The pancake cottage on one side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a dishwasher and a busboy and whatever they needed me to be at the time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good memories.
Yeah.
So the next band then after that, how did?
Well, I went to Arizona, Fort Huachuca, Arizona, and I played in some bands out there. I played at a place called Danny's Lounge. I went to a jam session and got up and sang and played. And the steel guitar player of the house band offered me a job just immediately. So I'd been in town for about a week and already got my first job in the band. And so we were playing 4 nights a week at Danny's Lounge. And it was kind of hard because I was in a field unit, a signal corps. And so I really had to do some juggling just to get to play.
I bet.
So that didn't last too much longer. I got the military intelligence school was right next to our barracks, and the command sergeant major of that school had a band. His name was Tom Gaston, and a really nice guy, great guitar player. Played all those Waylon licks and stuff, really good. And they were doing a 3-piece, and he wanted to expand when he met me. He said, "I'd like to expand my band to a 4-piece, so we could, incorporate your voice." And he knew that he was retiring pretty soon, so he was going to move back to El Paso, and so he kind of got me set there. They played at the Wonder Bar in Bisbee, Arizona, on Friday nights. It was a 1-night gig, but man, it was a hoot. It was just a hoot. And so Tom retired, went back, moved to El Paso, and I played on as a 3-piece there at the Wonder Bar. And there's where I started really expanding on my lead work, just because I had to.
Sure.
Yeah. So it was a great experience. Yeah, as you know, every situation that we get into in our journey musically adds something to where we are now, And
No
so
doubt.
So all these experiences, count, and all the stuff we're doing now, it counts as well. But anyway, so from there, I got out of the Army, went to school in Florida for a while, about a year and a half, and I was going to be a preacher. Can you imagine that, me being a preacher?
Well, you are.
I am now.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got there, and my wife and I were experiencing some marital problems, and we ended up saying, you know what, this isn't going to work. So we went to came back to El Paso. She wanted to come. We all did. I just said, I'm not gonna. I don't want to be a preacher. I was a young kid, and some people in the church got in my face and about some stuff, and I just said, I don't want to do this. So I said, forget it. Came back to El Paso, and I started smoking and drinking and playing music in the honky tonks. And Ronnie Wall King, was going to do a go back to doing a single act at the first edition, and he had a band with Bill Wilson and Doug Edwards. He was doing a 3-piece, and so they asked me to come and play with them. And so we said, what are we going to call this band? And that's how City Limits got started.
Excellent.
And, yeah. Am I talking too much?
No, this is what I want to hear.
Oh, okay. So we were playing at the Mule Chute, and which is now was turned into the Lobby years later out there on Dyer. And anyway, the Mule Chute, we played there for a while.
Johnny Meeks was a major influence in that group, wasn't he? A major part of it.
Well, he wasn't in the band at that time. Then we expanded. We had a fiddle player by the name of Johnny Walker.
Okay.
Yeah, Johnny Walker. Imagine that.
I liked his booze. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he did too. He was a good kid. I'm still friends with him. Johnny's in New York City now and has written several books. And anyway, that's a whole nother issue. But Johnny left the band, and we got a friend of mine by the name of James Wright, a guy I went to Bel Air High School with, and he was in. I forgot to tell you, when I was a kid at high school, me and James and Julie Hannawalt played in the Tim Thompson trio when I was in high school.
Okay.
And we played at the airport Hilton Inn.
Okay.
It was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights.
What year was that?
72, 71,
Okay.
72. And,
Well, we were at the Knights Club. You were at the Hilton Inn.
I guess.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
I was young, and my parents had to get permission and all that. But we played there. It was great. As a matter of fact, while I was there, the Elvis show came to town.
Yeah.
And that was the last time Elvis was here, I believe. And I did not meet Elvis, but I met, because they stayed there. And they asked us to play that Sunday afternoon. And the whole RCA entourage was there. And I met Colonel Tom Parker. And I met the guy who at the time was the president of RCA Records. And forgive me, but I do not remember his name. But he was, I was a kid. I was dumb. But anyway, I saw the food testers come down, and the chef was there, and they tested Elvis's food before they took it up there. So that was interesting. Anyway, James played bass for me and sang harmony in that band. He was also a guitar player. And so when he joined City Limits, we worked on our vocals and had some really good vocals. Had a song on the radio on K102, You Are My Music. And it did real well because they were playing local artists. And my now wife was my soon-to-be girlfriend at the time, was actually playing my music on K102. And we were having a really good run. They were playing us, Moon Pie, and a couple of other bands' recordings.
Yeah.
Locally, it was a really neat time back in the.
Probably some of Charlie Russell's stuff, maybe too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so City Limits, and then at that time I just got back to El Paso. I was making money any way I could, playing music, working at Circle K. I sold cars for Gene Horn for a short time.
All right.
And then somebody from my past came into my life. They came to hear City Limits play. It was Tom Gaston, the sergeant major. He had went to work out at White Sands. So he didn't retire then. He actually transferred to White Sands, where he retired. And he said, I can get you a job in civil service. And so he got me a job out at White Sands as a mail and file clerk. And then he retired. He was gone. And he's since passed away. But that was, Tom was very really a good friend, you know. And so I had this great job, civil service. It was a GS7, you know. And it's the best job I ever quit to play music. So we
Yeah.
decided we were going to go on the road and be that hot country band, you know, city limits. And
So much
so
for the retirement, right?
yeah, exactly. So that's the first great job I quit,
Yeah.
and to play music. And the minute I quit, James got mad at us, and we had a falling out with him, and he quit. He quit the band. So we had this whole road tour planned: Flagstaff, the Museum Club, you know, Gallup, you know, alternate San Angelo. Our calendar was full. So here we were. We were booked as a 4-piece, and Kanji said, Don Kanji said, you know, I got all these things booked. You better get you another piece. So that's when Bill Wilson said, you know, I'm going to call Meeks, Johnny Meeks. He was in LA. He says, I bet you Johnny will come play with us, you know. And Johnny Meeks was a famous rockabilly player, played with Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps. And how Bill Wilson knew him is because the same thing that happened to Elvis happened to Meeks, right in the heyday. They were playing the Ed Sullivan Show and Bebop Lou, celebrating a huge hit with that, and Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps. Right in the middle of that, Johnny gets drafted, ends up at Fort Bliss. So he's playing where? At the Red Barn with Bill Wilson. Yeah, with Bill Wilson. And so they just became lifelong friends.
And for those of you out there that don't know who Bill Wilson was, he was quite a drummer, and he went back to, some of the earliest bands that ever played in El Paso. I think you and I were both playing at his memorial service, Tim. In fact, I've got some pictures that I'm going to post up on this show of me and you playing together at that show. And it wasn't really a show; it was a memorial, and a lot of us musicians came together and memorialized him. Yeah, but he was. I think Dalton and several people said that he was El Paso's oldest first rock drummer.
Yeah, he played with a group called the Rock Kings. Was one.
Yeah, with Rudy Montoya, and yeah.
He's a really a nice chunk of El Paso rock and roll history, you know, really is. And anyway, Bill was he was my best friend. You know, there's no doubt about it. He was
I never knew him, but I obviously, through you all the musicians that were dear to me, and those, back when we lost him, I was kind of living his life through you all, and so I knew how much you all loved this guy, and his daughter Crystal. I guess she lives in Las Vegas.
She's in Las Vegas, and she's doing well. I just saw her a few months ago.
Oh, great!
Yeah, so I'm
nice.
So proud of her. She's like the daughter I never had.
Sweet, very nice.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, so Johnny Meeks. I mean, in fact, I've talked to you about his history, and I mean, after he left your group, he even went to play bass for Merle Haggard.
No, but he did that before.
Oh, he did that before.
Yeah, yes. So his career was kind of winding down.
I see.
He was doing a single act there in L.A. And he was in a couple of Elvis movies. He was in Roustabout, and he was in another one. But anyway, do you remember that movie? I think it was Roustabout. Yeah, it was, where the band was playing Little Egypt, and the band was in shadows.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
One of those shadows was Johnny.
Oh, okay.
Johnny Me. Little Egypt, I think, was the name of the song. But cool. And he played bass for a year and a half with the Strangers, Merle Haggard. He played with Michael Nesmith. He was in the Champs.
Nice.
A lot of he played with Glenn Campbell. He played with Michael Netsmith. He played with Seals and Crofts. Just an amazing career. Brian Setzer from the Stray Cats, when he started the Stray Cats, and I saw this in Guitar Player magazine, so where Johnny was mentioned, that he was consulted by Brian along with James Burton, because he considered those two guys the premier rockabilly players in the world.
Royalty, man.
Yeah.
Royalty.
And Johnny was a great guitar player. He was a character. There's some things about Johnny that Johnny said to me, I can't say on this interview. But little Timmy Thompson, that's the way he talked. He'd do that, and we would be playing at what is now the special edition, but at the time it was the second edition. And Johnny was up there playing, and there was a closet back behind the stage on the wall of the stage where they kept towels and they kept tablecloths or whatever. And it was a pretty big room, and it was kind of a swinging door.
Right.
And so I'm up there playing, and I'm right in the middle of because I'm a ballad singer. And so I was singing something like Statue of a Fool, or the Statue of a Fool, or something like that. And I closed my eyes and was belting it out. And I hear Bill back there playing the drums, and he's laughing, and Doug Edwards is the bass player is laughing. And I look over, and all I can see is Johnny Meeks' guitar chord. And I'm following his guitar chord, and it's going into that room where all the towels were, right? So I finished the song, and everybody's laughing. And Johnny comes out, and he's still playing. And all of a sudden, it goes into Ahab the Arab.
Sheik of the Barren Sands.
Yeah, Sheik of the Barren Sands. And he had gotten back there and put one of those towels on his head, so he kind of looked Egyptian, and he was going, oh, yeah.
Funny.
And I mean, he was just hilarious, man. And so there were signs like on Friday nights, free popcorn. And he'd go, Timmy, little Timmy. He'd say, free popcorn. Free popcorn, that kind of stuff. He was a hoot, just a hoot. And a lot of great memories. And out there on the road, he was really something. And he really, I don't know, for one reason or another, he really liked me. And he would he'd call Bill all the time, Bill Wilson, and he'd say, how's a little Timmy Thompson doing, And anyway, so we thought a lot of Johnny. It was, and he was just a real, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame about a year before he died. He died of Parkinson's disease.
Oh.
His daughter, Dina, got a hold of me and told me that he had passed away, and that I was one of the names on his friend list.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's really a neat recollection, and what a neat guy to be associated with. Very lucky for you. One of the recent shows that I've done was with Bobby Cochran, who was Eddie Cochran's was his uncle, and they were both inducted into the Rockabilly Hall of Fame just about 5 years ago.
Wow.
And it's sad that Eddie didn't get to live to experience that, but at least his nephew did, and one of those guys that was part of the legendary rockabilly movement, man, with Carl Perkins and Elvis and all of them. There were so many good ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One more quick story about Johnny. When he first came, we met him at the Chevron truck stop, and he came in this little Winnebago RV.
Uh-huh.
And he says, come here, I want to show you something, And he brings out 2 guitars and a bass. And as a matter of fact, these guitars are in that picture that I sent you of City Limits.
Yeah.
Johnny. And these were the prototype. He said, the last person I went to go see was Leo Fender. He said, I wanted to say my goodbyes to him. And he said, well, where are you going? He said, I'm going to play with a group called City Limits. And so he said, well, what kind of instrumentation do they have? He said, well, we're going to have 2 guitars and a bass and drums. He said, well, I've got these prototypes of this new company. I'm starting G&L. And he said, I want you to take these guitars and play them. Tell me what you think about them. So we were playing these G&L prototypes while we were playing with Johnny.
How'd they sound?
They were great. Oh my gosh. They're awesome. Awesome. And like I said, that picture that I guess you're going to show it. It's got those guitars and that bass in it. So be sure and pay particular attention to that.
Do you still have the guitars?
No, Johnny took them with him when
he did.
When we went to South Carolina. And so he went to South Carolina to see his folks, went back to LA, hired on with Ricky Nelson, and was going to do New Year's 1980 something. Anyway, the years go by. And I'm playing with a band called Homebrew in Dallas because I'm living in Dallas now. And we're playing New Year's Eve at Mr. Catfish, which is on Dow Rock on Lake Ray Hubbard, as you cross halfway across.
Right.
And so we're all getting ready to play, and we hear the news. Ricky Nelson was supposed to play in Dallas that night, and his plane went down. Well, Johnny was on his way to meet them in Dallas for the gig.
Oh my gosh!
And he was in his RV, and he got the news when he got to Dallas, and he said, "That's it, I'm done," and just kept driving to South Carolina, and he lived the rest of his days there in South Carolina. So,
wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
So,
what a story, man!
Yeah.
What a story. Let's jump into sipping whiskey. Let's talk about sipping whiskey.
I would, but I've been clean and sober now for. Oh, you mean the band?
The band, yeah. Nice group, man. It was a nice group.
I was one of about 4 different guitar players. I was the second guitar player.
Yeah.
Sipping whiskey. The first one was Frank Alstead, and great guitar player, and that was the original band. When Frank moved on, I was in Dallas, and we came to El Paso to pick up Melissa and take her back to Dallas with me. We weren't married yet, and we stopped to over there in a club called Country Corner, which I think it's now BB's Hall on Yarborough and Vista del Sol.
Yes.
And so we went and saw them. They got me up to play, and Dave Duchesne and John Brock called me in Dallas about a month after that. And they said, would you consider coming back to El Paso and playing with Sippin' Whiskey? Well, I just got Melissa moved in good. and she got a job with KPLX Radio, the number 6 Billboard country station in the world, number 6. She was introducing Garth Brooks and all the bands at Billy Bob's on Friday nights. That was part of her duty. They had billboards with her on it, and she was a celebrity. And so I said, honey, what do you think? And I was working for E-Systems because I had gotten a job making $21 an hour, union job, issuing out parts, So make a long story short, that's the second great job I quit to go on the road with the band.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, playing with musicians, the caliber of Dave Duchesne and John Brock brought my music to a different level.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Don Laughlin's Riverside Resort Hotel and Casino overlooking the beautiful Colorado River in Laughlin, Nevada, it's Jumping at the Riverside with Billy Kay, Pam Penbarton, Vic Vegas, the Riverside Orchestra, and special guest, Sippin' Whiskey. All right. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Billy Kay and his lovely wife, Pam. Thank you. Thank you. You didn't say her last name, no, Pamela Petfarkin.
Yeah, it's not my real name.
Pam and I, last night was our night off, and we went downstairs here to the South Lounge. Have you folks seen that trio in the South Lounge? Did you see them? Sipping whiskey. One of the greatest trios I have ever seen in my whole life, doing the best country music that I ever heard in my whole life. Now, we're going to have an opportunity right now to introduce a great trio, the one I'm just talking about, and I want you people to make them feel at home. And I don't mean just here in the room at the Riverside, but I mean all over. Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Give a nice round of applause for Sippin' Whiskey. Come on, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, they tell me of a place where no storm clouds rise. They tell me of a home far away. Yeah, they tell me of a place where my friends have all gone. Oh, they tell me of an unclouded day. Oh, the land of cloudless skies. Oh, the land of an unclouded day. Oh, they tell me of a place where my friends have all gone. Oh, they tell me of an unclouded day. Oh, they tell me of a place where no storm clouds rise. They tell me of a home far away. Oh, they tell me of a place where my friends have all gone. Oh, they tell me of an unclouded day. Oh, the land of cloudless skies. Oh, the land of an unclouded day. Oh, yeah, they tell me of a place where my friends have all gone. Oh, they tell me of an unclouded day.
You know, what's really interesting about that, because I have a similar path. I've worked with great musicians all my life, and you know, when I hear you talking about John Brock, it brings back such vivid memories. I knew his dad, Ernie, very well.
Oh, Ernie was a hoot.
Ernie was in our Lions Club, and and he would every once in a while talk about John, and I'm going, well, you know, how come I don't know who this guy is? Because, you know, I was running with some of the guys that, you know, like Dalton Powell and, you know, and these guys, and I'm going, how come I've missed John Brock? And I never really got to know him, you know, and God bless him. You know, I learned about him much later on, you know, and never really saw you guys because I was always playing or out on the road myself, but always heard about Sippin' Whiskey, and of course, you know, heard some of your music, of which I'm going to put up here on this show. When you guys were playing over in was it Reno, or is that where it was?
Laughlin,
Nevada. Yeah, Laughlin, Nevada, and you know, it's down by the Riverside. You know, the name of the show that we're going to talk about here, and I'll play the clip on that, But John, you know, he was such a quiet guy. You know, he was a very modest guy. He didn't really brag or anything. But, you know, I went to his funeral, man, and I tell you what, I think every musician in El Paso was there. You know,
he's a great musician, great drummer, great guy.
Yeah.
Easy to love.
Yes, very much so. He was that kind of guy. Now his dad, I don't know.
Ernie was a hoot.
Ernie was a hoot, man. Ernie was crazy, man. Ernie was just, he would let you know what was on his mind, you know. Absolutely. And he used to own that motel right there on Mesa. You remember that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He owned a motel there. I can't remember the name of it, but in fact, our Lions Club met there. I think the year I was president, we were meeting there, called was it the Executive Inn?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he owned that thing, and we were there for a while, you know, having our meeting there. That was one of our many places that we met on a Friday afternoon for lunch for many years.
You know,
You've entertained for some of those guys. You've been my program before for the Lions Club, so
Oh yeah.
good
he
memories.
He was also very good friends with Clint Eastwood,
Okay.
and actually was a stockholder in several of his movies.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
I think I thought that group, the Sippin' Whiskey, was really one of your finest groups. Now, John didn't sing, so it was just you and
He sang harmony.
oh, he did sing harmony.
Oh, he's a great harmony singer. Absolutely.
Wow. Now, I did not know that.
Absolutely. Yeah. He was. We utilized everybody to the fullest.
Very
And,
nice. Very, very nice.
That's the reason because I've done a lot of solo acts, and I've had a lot of house gigs, in my career. My first solo act was a 7-year, 3.5 years at a time at the First Edition on Rushing in Fairbanks.
Okay.
Played 5 nights a week at one time there.
Great.
And so it was a drum machine named Elmo. It had 3 beats on it, and I had a tap tempo,
There you go.
And so it was me and Elmo, and people would buy drinks for Elmo shots.
Nice.
And women would put their apartment keys and stuff, that's for Elmo,
Very cool.
It was like Elmo was the star of the show. And even today, people will come up, every once in a while and say, "Whatever happened to Elmo?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "He hit the big time, man.
Yeah.
He heard on with Sesame Street and all that. He won't even talk to me anymore."
Yeah, he finally hit the big time. Yeah.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I was, when I was playing a solo act with a drum machine, and then I was playing with Sippin' Whiskey, a 3-piece band. And so in those kind of situations, a guitar player pretty much has to end up playing every note that they know in every song,
Sure.
Just play.
Yeah.
Fill in, John and Dave were saying, "Man, you got to play. You got to fill up space, And so I played. And then I got into a 4 or 5-piece bands with other guitar players, piano players, and stuff like that. And they were saying, don't play. You've got to make room,
Are
So
you
it was
talking
all-
about Solid Ground now?
Well, yeah, there's Solid Ground, the Tim Thompson band, other bands that I've played in, in different situations.
I tell you, Solid Ground was just one of my favorite groups because I think that was the last time I heard you with a full band. I mean, you had Jerry Shapiro on fiddle, you had David Huerta on guitar, bass, you on guitar, John Allen on keys, and Dalton Powell on drums. What a nice group.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good band, and I really enjoyed it. And, what do you do? I mean, bands
Come and go. Yeah.
Yeah, they do, but the memories stay forever, don't they?
They really do. And you guys, I mean, you had a regular gig there at the Stagecoach for a long time. I remember going out there with my family and watching you guys one night, and I even got invited up to sit in on a song and played with you for the very first time. That was a lot of fun. And I think it was probably Bill Wilson after that, when we played together. I don't remember who else played on that. I think Ed Clore might have been in on that one, maybe Paul Quattlebaum. But yeah, it was good memories, man. I got a lot of them,
Absolutely.
I think one of my fondest memories of you in recent years was when I produced the show at the El Paso Scottish Rite. You had PT and the Cruisers backing you, and you were the star that night. And I think we had about, I don't know, 300 or 400 people there. It was a nice show.
It was a good show.
Rod ran the sound for it. The sound was really good, Rod Crosby, and you just lit the place on fire, man, playing some of your original songs. It was so much fun at seeing you behind that grand piano.
Kim's going to ease over and play this Steinway, this $500,000 Steinway.
Life would be grand.
Wait a minute. I want to vote. I want to vote. Okay. She was fine, but what about life would be grand? What do you think? See?
Yeah. He's a legend in his own mind.
Yes. Life would be grand.
Hey, I'm just dying to play this. When I found out this piano was here, I've been wanting to do this. Is that Rick? Are you there? Rick Kern.
I'm here.
Thank you for heading up this concert for us.
You're welcome.
This concert series. I've always wanted to do that.
You know, this is the kid
Thank you very much.
that's in that commercial. You know, where the concert guy comes out and then the mother and father are going, what happened to the kid? This is him grown up. We were looking forward to
grown up. Sort of. Hey, you had to go there. A lady by the name of Sharon Cobb, who is from El Paso, and I wrote this song. She's a Nashville resident right now, up there in Nashville, Tennessee. We wrote this song. We collaborated on this, and we got it to Reba McEntire. So we're hoping that Reba's going to record this really soon. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, if Reba records this song, life would be grand. I might even have a Mexican girlfriend. So. No, I don't think so. My wife wouldn't like that. My wife is...
How you doing, Melissa?
Is my wife still here? Honey, are you there?
I saw her leave with a guy about 2 minutes ago.
And he was going out the door. Life would be grand.
Life would be grand. Yeah. Anyway, we wrote this song. It's called "It's Just Me Again," and anyway. I hope you like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. It's just me again, and I called tonight just because I heard you were free again. Well, let's get together and see where this might lead again. Oh, let's just see. It's just me again. It's just me again. Knew in my heart when I saw you, you'd be with me again. Oh, and nothing could ever convince me we're not meant to be again. Oh, can't you see? It's not just me. Not just me again. Oh, you touched my hand and the feelings began, just like it's starting all over again, like a train rolling downhill so fast. Once it's in motion, then it stops and jumps off the tracks. So much for love and devotion. It's just me again, finding it hard to believe that you'd really leave again. Oh, I'm screaming inside, wondering how it could possibly be again. How could it possibly be? How could you do this to me? How could it possibly be? No, just me again. just me again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I was hiding behind the grand piano, and then at one point I actually sat down and played a song.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know, but it was a good night. It was a good night. Another good memory. I believe that was either the last time or the second to the last time that I saw Danny. from
yeah.
Danny's Movie.
I think the last time you saw Danny was probably at our Border Legends show.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
right.
because you were playing with Rod Crosby, I think, on one of those times with one of the musicians that was playing with him,
Right.
and I think that last time was when we actually got Danny up behind the drums, one of the drum kits. I
remember.
wanted to make sure and make that happen, because I knew it would mean a lot to him. So he got up there and sat there, and while they were playing I think it was New Shade of Blue or something, he was over there at least just playing the hi-hat, and
Right.
and enjoying every bit of it, and I stuck a couple pictures up on the internet of that. I sure miss him. Boy,
Oh, I do too. I got to tell you, he did come to that concert though. And not only did he come to the concert, but he came backstage. And
yes.
spent some time with me, and
Yeah.
told me
And
he was proud of me.
And Danny Joe was running one of the spotlights. I mean, that was a Danny Joe Lucas McDaniel production, man. I mean, I had all those guys. I mean, the very first Border Legend show we did at Lancers East. I mean, that was they donated the drum kit for that show. I mean, that's how they were. They wanted to help anybody any way they could. That was how they were. They were so giving of themselves. They cared about the El Paso musicians, and that I don't take that lightly, man. I tell you, those guys are the cream of the crop. They really are.
Absolutely.
They just
when I was a kid with the Tim Thompson trio, we were playing. We had a gig out at White Sands, and I didn't have a PA. My PA had busted down, and I went into Danny's shop, and that was the original Danny's. The one that
on Montana.
Yes.
Yep.
Not the big store, the little tiny store.
The little one over in the shopping center there.
Behind Arby's there.
Right.
Yeah. And I said, Danny, I don't have a PA. He said, pick out whatever you want and take it.
Wow.
And I said, you're kidding. He said, no, take it. He said, bring it back tomorrow. And so I got to do that gig because Danny said, just take the PA.
That's where we got our basic sound. That's where we got our basic sound PA. We got one of those custom tuck and roll, remember? And it had the blue tuck and roll, little like sparkly stuff all over it. And that's where we bought it. Every drum kit I ever bought was from Danny. I think my first drum kit I bought from him when he was at the Melody Shop working for Mr. Spiritus,
Wow.
And
this was a casino PA. Same thing. It was an offshoot of the custom.
Yeah.
But it had the columns.
Right.
Same stuff you're talking about. But it was called Casino.
I'll be
It was
darned.
a great. So I ended up buying the PA from him.
Yeah.
I love it so much, and so I said, "Can I buy this from you?" And so I got my dad and mom to give me the money to do it. But,
And that was the other thing, man. He would give you terms, he would let you pay on it and everything. That's how he was,
He was.
I got to tell you a funny story about PAs. When I was a young kid, just playing in my very first garage band, we decided that we were going to build our own PA, right? I'd always seen these A7s and all these, with the big horns and the crossover networks and everything. What we decided to do is I built the enclosure, and we put foam rubber and everything in there, made it real dead. I put a couple of D140s in there, Altec Lansing D140s, and I was driving that with a little 2-channel Bogan Challenger amplifier. two channels, man. But you could get 4 mics out of it because you put these little deals you'd plug in, and they had 2 inputs on each plug-in, so I could put 4 mics in there. The only problem is that 2 of the mics on each side are going to sound the same, because you could only control.
You're right. Okay.
So
Funny.
the crazy thing about this PA we built is after we finished building it, I made one very serious mistake. I forgot to measure the door before we built the box. So it was used strictly for outside or in somebody's garage. You could not take it in a doorway. So it was never used inside a club, but
Wow.
so I finally took the D140s out and we put them in some enclosures, and that was our PA for a long time. Wow. Crazy stuff.
That is crazy.
You've been sitting there for a long time with your guitar, and we haven't heard you play a song yet, so I think we need to do that. And then we're going to talk about some of your other songs. I want to hear the inspiration behind some of the songs you've written.
Okay. Well, this is because now I'm very instrumental in writing Christian music and inspirational music. Very important part of my life now. And,
You bet.
And so this was the first of the first because I was raised in church, and I guess it just didn't take. And I always wondered why. I was like, that you can hear about something all your life, but until you really experience it for real, and it's just words, So the name of this song is called "Someone in My Heart," and I wrote it trying not to be too much in your face about, too evangelical, if you will. I really wanted it to be a song that people could listen to and say, wow, that's a love song. Well, it really is.
Nice.
It really is. I knew a long time ago the right direction, yet I chose this winding road, knowing full well the destruction to my soul. Knew the truth, but still I just could not let go. It was like that from the start. Had it all inside my head, but it never reached my heart. I turned away from love, from friends. Now I'm wishing that I'd realized back then, when it's said and done, I'm not in control. Sometimes holding on means learning to let go, getting back to where it starts. I had something in my head when I needed someone in my heart. Too many times I tried my own way, and always found myself alone. But now I'm living in a new day, and I know that when it's over, I'll be home. That's my favorite part, 'cause I've got something in my head, and I've got someone in my heart. that's my favorite part. 'Cause I've got something in my head, I've got someone in my heart. I've got something in my head, and I've got someone in my heart. In my heart.
Nice. I really like that, man. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
You've written some really nice songs, and I want to have you talk a little bit about Lucky Penny. What inspired you with that song, and when did you write that one?
Lucky Penny was the first song that Dave Duchesne and I wrote together, and we our first gig was in Portales, New Mexico, a little place called, well, the only place, called the Captain's Table. It was like a restaurant bar kind of thing. And it's still there, but it's named something else now, I've been told. But it was a hoot. There was, and the closest nightclub to that was the Copper Penny in Clovis.
Okay.
So, which I never played, but I heard a lot about it. But anyway, so we played, I think it was 2 or 3 nights in Portales, and the next gig was in Carlsbad at the My Way Lounge in Carlsbad. And anybody who's been on the road, a road musician in El Paso, has probably played the My Way in Carlsbad before, or Stevens, someplace in Carlsbad. But anyway, we're driving, we get our stuff loaded up. John follows us in his little Subaru that he carried his drums in. And I was in Dave's van with him. And he said, Tim, he said, let's write a song. He said, this was part of the deal because you're a songwriter and we're going to write songs together. He said, what do you think of Lucky Penny? And he said, my daughter, Courtney, she was a small girl at the time. She would say, Lucky Penny, Dad, Lucky Penny. Can you write a song about Lucky Penny? And Dave said, I've just got a block. He says, I don't know what to write about. And so immediately I just closed my eyes and I said, how about this? Lucky Penny on the ground. So he stops and he bends down. He wonders if today's his lucky day. And Dave would go, yeah, that's it. So,
Lucky penny on the ground. So he stops and he bends down. He wonders if today's his lucky day. He's been down this road before, 'cause in his pocket there's some more. He's been saving pennies since she went away. How many lucky pennies will it take to bring her back? How many years will she still cross his mind? He's finding out how much it hurts to love someone like that. He saves every lucky penny he can find. In his room above the bar, drops more pennies in a jar. He settles down and turns the TV on. But it's the same old storyline. Still he watches one more time, 'cause it reminds him that she's been away so long. How many lucky pennies will it take to bring her back? How many years will she still cross his mind? He's finding out how much it hurts to love someone like that. So he saves every lucky penny he can find.
We started exchanging lines, you know. It's, what are we trying to say? Well, we want to write a song with a happy melody, but sad words, you know. A song about an old man who is lovesick, who is the love of his life left him, you know. And so in his second verse starts, then this was Dave's, in his room above the bar, he drops more pennies in a jar. He settles down and turns the TV on, you know, and he says, where do we go from there? I said, how about, it's the same old storyline, you know, what he's watching. It's the same old storyline, but he watches one more time. And it's the same old storyline, so he watches one more time. She's been away so long. And then the chorus, the main hook is how many lucky pennies will it take to bring her back? How many years will she still cross his mind? He's finding out how much it hurts to love someone like that. He saves every lucky penny he can find. Anyway, so Lucky Penny.
Good song.
Through the years, that's been the most requested original song that I've ever written.
Tell me
As a matter
about
of fact,
Tell me about There'll Be No Crying Today. What was the inspiration on that one?
well, Scott Martin and I were working on the album and we needed another song. And he said, don't you have anything else in your catalog that you want to put? I said, yeah, I got lots in my catalog, but I don't have anything I want to put on this project. He said, well, let's write a song. So we're in the studio and we actually write this song in about 30 minutes. He said, I had an idea for the song. And it was, I had this thing going. Somebody's lying, starting it again. Somebody's going away. That's all I had, you know. So I sang that for him. He said, "That's good. Somebody's lying. He's starting it again. Somebody's going away." He said, "That's good. That's good."
Somebody's lying, starting it again. Somebody's going their way. She tries to remember how she loved him back then, but she's just not feeling that way. There was a time when she would give him anything. There was a time when she could stay, and there were the times when she cried all night long. But there'll be no crying today. She's making a change, trying to get free. She's gonna make it some way. There's no looking back now, 'cause there's really no need, 'cause there's nothing left now to say. There was a time when she would have have held on forever. There was a time when she would stay, and there were the times when she cried all night long. But there'll be no crying today. She's moving on now, she's leaving. There's nothing left to make her stay. She's finally past the point of grieving, and there'll be no crying today.
And so, then Scott says, how about she tries to remember how she loved him back then, right? Because it rhymed with again. And then I said, yeah, but she's just not feeling that way, you know? And then so we go to, there was a time when she would give him anything. There was a time when she would stay. And there were the times she cried all night long. But there'll be no crying today. so we had,
Right.
oh man, there it is. It's about the crying's over. She's done, you know. So we finished the song once we got that much.
How about I Can't Quit Karen?
That was actually Dave Duchesne was playing with Johnny Lee at the time in Reno, and so we kept in touch. And years prior to this, Dave said, you know, Johnny came up with a song idea, I Can't Quit Karen for you. The girl's name Karen, you know.
Yeah.
And I remembered that and tucked that away in my arsenal. Nothing happened with it, and so I was in Dallas, and the president of the Dallas Songwriters Association, name was Beverly Houston, decided she wanted to write a song with me, and so I threw that idea at her, and we wrote that song, I Can't Quit Caring for You. She calls me up and she says, we've got a publishing deal on the tune, and they were going to publish it as a publishing company. Lady, a publisher who had some clout and who could have got it placed. So we were just on cloud nine.
Years ago today, you said goodbye. Thought I'd never see your face again. I never understood the reason why you left the love we had back then. You stand before me, your arms are open wide, the same two arms that once pushed me away. Now you say you know that I'm the one, but first there's something I must say. I can't quit caring for you. That's the one thing in my life I'm sure of. I remember what we had. Girl, what can I do? I can't quit caring for you.
And then so in the meantime, she takes it to, she says, I'm going to take it and let Buddy Cannon hear it, because he was a panelist at this seminar they had. And I said, oh, that's great, man. Buddy Cannon, he'll love it, you know. And my friend Tony Kincaid, who wrote the title song on Good to Go, he wrote Good to Go. He was there in Dallas. And when they played that, and Buddy Cannon just ripped that song to pieces. He said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You know, I can't quit caring for you. Country music was going through this thing where they were trying to get away from cliches, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, after that, Beverly wouldn't talk to me anymore. The publisher was also there. And so they dropped the song like a hot potato. And to this day, man, I'm still mad at Buddy Cannon. But
Yeah.
so I stuck that song on the Good to Go Out project because I really believed in the song and thought it was a great song. Now, you know, now it's not a song that would hold a lot of relevance today in today's market, but I'm still proud of it.
I really like Sippin' Whiskey's version or your song of Trying to Get the Fire Back that you all performed at that show in Laughlin. Talk about that one a little bit.
Yeah, Dave and I wrote that song, and John was in the room with us too, because John would like to sit around and he'd try to figure out what he was going to do percussion-wise while we were writing these songs, you know. And he was kind of a cheerleader, you know. So it really, and to be fair, I'd have to say that John was a big part of this song as well. And the theme was trying to get the fire back again, because the band was doing so well with Frank as their guitar player. And what I don't know what the circumstances were on Frank's leaving, but it really hurt the guys that Frank left. And it hurt, you know how fans are, you know. It wouldn't matter who it was, you know. You had to win those same fans all over again. So, and we did. It was great. But the theme was, you know, we as a band, we're trying to get the fire back again, you know. And so I think that's what was running through Dave's head. Anytime Dave got an idea for a song, he got this twinkle in his eye and he go, Tim, what do you think of trying to get the fire back again? You know?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I put the candles on the table like she used to do for me, back when the fire was burning in her heart. But lately when I hold her, it's not like it used to be. We had it all, but we let it fall apart. I put a new log in the fireplace and turned the lights down low. Tonight I'll be the man she loved and knew. I'm gonna hold her till the morning light and tell everything's alright. I'm trying to get the fire back again. Trying to get the fire back again. I wanna see love grow, never end. If we can be lovers, why can't we be friends? Trying to get the fire back again. Won't you touch me like you touched me long ago? I'm not out of love, girl, I've got so much more. And I'm trying to get the fire back again. I wanna see love grow, never end. If we can be lovers, why can't we be friends? Trying to get the fire back again.
And so immediately I saw this scenario of this guy putting the candles around the table, you know, the lights, turning the lights down low. You know, he's going to win this woman back. You know, he's going to make her fall in love with him all over again, you know. And so I came up with, I put the candles on the table like she used to do for me back when the fire was burning in her heart. And then Dave would get excited. Man, when he got excited, man, lines just started coming out, you know. We couldn't write them fast enough. And so we got to the trying to get the fire back again, you know, got to the actual chorus of it, you know, and that we can be lovers, why can't we be friends? Let's try to get the fire back again. Anyway, so we just fell in love with it immediately. John started singing harmony on the chorus, and Dave started singing harmony, and we had this 3-part thing going, and we just fell in love with the song before it ever even got finished. And so that's, and we sang it that night at the powwow in Tucumcari.
Nice.
And guess who was in the audience?
Who?
Hiram Posey.
Really?
Yeah, he was living in.
Did he get up and play with you?
No, he was still on the railroad. But he was there in Tucumcari, and he came up and talked to us, and Dave said, we've got a new song we want you to hear. So, and that's how I met Hiram. I'd heard about him all my life.
You know, I've heard about him all my life, and several guys here in El Paso recorded with him and everything. I think even Doug Neal and the guys from Moon Pie and stuff even maybe did something with him. And I've reached out to him, and he wants to do a show with me sometime, so we'll still do it.
Great guy. Yeah, great guy. Great talent.
Is he living in Nashville now, or where's he at?
He's in Nashville or
Okay.
Franklin or someplace close by there.
Yeah.
So,
I think when I talked to him about 8 or 10 months ago, and he said, yeah, he'd love to do it. So we'll hopefully do one, man. I've got, he's on my list, you know, so we'll eventually get around to working with him.
He'd be a good one. He'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd love to tune in on that one. So
Yeah. Nice.
So, anyway, yeah.
Well, my friend, you know, we've been talking a lot, man. We've been going now for what, about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, something like that.
Has it been that long?
I think so.
I didn't realize I could enjoy talking to you so much.
Well, I know, man, you know, and likewise, it's been
Did I say that?
it's been a real hoot, you know, it really has. And as I knew it would be, and I mean, you and I could continue this on for another 4 or 5 hours probably.
Oh gosh, there's so much to talk about, you know. I would like to mention though that I am a pastor now, Mountain View Baptist Church, and I'm still playing at the Edge of Texas restaurant. I've been there 20 years. So it's been a ride. But gave my heart to the Lord, and he fixed a lot of the things that was wrong with me. There's still a lot wrong with me, but you know, it's concerning drugs and alcohol and all that stuff, that occupational hazards and playing music. And I'm sure you know guys and girls who had to face those demons in their lives as well. But life is good. I'm retired from El Paso High, preaching the gospel, writing music in my studio, and performing at the Edge of Texas, and married to my beautiful wife, Melissa, and just enjoying the wonderful life that God has afforded us. And so, and with good friends like you and Dalton, Doug, and the list goes on and on and on and on. I just appreciate y'all so much.
Well, ditto, my friend. You know, you are the consummate country artist that I always think about in El Paso, and I've known a bunch of them, you know, but you're super special to me. You always have been, and as well your wife. You know, I've been on the radio with your wife before, and she's a class act, and as well as you are, you know, and your friendship means a lot to me. It has for many years, and we've known each other a long time. And but I just wanted to thank you. It's a heartfelt thing that you said, and I feel the same way, man. You're the real deal, and you're the one of the main reasons why I do this show is because you've got good messages to tell, good stories to tell, good memories that we all want to hear about, and I want to thank you for opening up your heart to us today and sharing with us. And it's been fun, man. We'll do it again.
Thank you so much, and God bless you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you, my friend. We love you, Guy. You take
Love
care.
you too.
Take
Bye-bye.
care now, man. Thank you.